Hello and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I don't know when this is going to go live, Shabam! But at some point I'm sure. You may recognise this as my training space, also known as Clutter Central right now. You can't really see it, but like there's a mattress here, punch bags there, got an iron arms, forearm trainer thingy here, got a resistance band there, foam roller there. Apart from the punch bag, none of the things I've mentioned so far are mine. But yeah, this is where I used to operate my personal training and stuff from, and it's also sort of the most prominent space for my own personal training a few years ago. I've got my tea over here on the windowsill, so let me just grab that. Yeah, this used to be my domain, so to speak, and I still use it, and less as time goes by, it gets more cluttered, and I think that I'm going to end up having to take all of my stuff out of here. Most of it, I think, will get stored somewhere in this building, because this is my mother's house, and she will allow me to do that. Tea's getting a little cold, so I've got to drink up, you know. She'll let me do that, and I just won't be able to use most of it. When this room is being refurbished, it's going to be made into a bedroom, and that means that I'm going to claim one of the other bedrooms in the building, and it's probably going to be the one straight through that wall, most likely, which used to be, back when this was my grandparents' house, the room that I would usually sleep in. All I need to do first, however, is try and figure out a way to get the punch bag to be in there without damaging the carpet in any way, shape or form, so that I can still use it, and then I can set it up appropriately, because that's the one piece of equipment in here that I think that I would still benefit from regularly having access to. Everything else, for the most part, I can mimic in some way, shape or form elsewhere, somehow. I do also have a couple other things I'm going to use. The cat's being loud, but I don't know what it might want. I'm just going to pause in case I can, it needs water or something. I'm back. She wanted to go out. She looks so old. It's very sad. But anyway, back on topic. I'll just have to keep an ear out in case she wants to come back in. I'll try and hear that. I think what I was about to say was I do have a couple other things that I will continue to want to use other than the punch bag, which is my yoga ball. It's just a big inflatable ball, great for like gentle back bend type work, because there isn't a lot better than back bendy type work for like thoracic spine mobility, just going forward and backwards. Obviously you need to get some rotation, and that will help with that as well as a good gentle starting point. And then I've got Damien, the grappling dummy, as well, who I still don't use very much, but I think would be useful to still have available occasionally, especially when I pick up another martial art, because there is a local traditional jiu-jitsu thing that I'm kind of wanting to go to, but it depends with work and everything, getting a schedule that can work it out, and finances, because I'm in a bit of a pickle with those, in a sense. There's an impending doom type of bill that's likely to be due next year, and also the MOT guy said my car's probably only got 1 or 2 years before it'll start draining money with repairs every MOT, so I'll need to get another one, etc, etc. So then you also have my guan. I have my collapsible guan that stays in the car, but my guan that is currently here I'll need to use for something else. I've got leg spreaders, I've got mine at home, but my brother has some in here, etc. Resistance band chair doesn't get much use, but I'll probably take that home. So we have another chair, and then I can use resistance band chair for resistance band chair activities, etc. So yeah, it's going to be very complicated when this does eventually fully get turned into not my training space, because it's currently like 40% my training space, 60% junkyard storage. Whatever though, you know. Yeah, and it's going to be sad for me, but whatever. Everything's going to get stored, still hopefully going to have access to the punch bag when I figure that out, etc, etc. I cancelled one gym membership, yesterday. So now I've only got one gym membership, which may also get cancelled depending on work situations, because I may be getting a new job, maybe at some point sort of towards the very end of the year, start of next year. I have to stay at my current job for at least another 8 days, and then I can request my retention bonus for having been there 1 whole year. Huzzah! That would then enable me to get that extra £100. Yay! Having got that £100 secured, I would then not have to worry about losing that, having already done most of the time. I know it's sunk cost fallacy, but still, it would bother me. And so, yeah, once I've got that, I would then be more comfortable if I get offered a job, because I am in talks with another company and I plan on contacting some more next week to get some options potentially available. Then I would be in a position where I could hand in my change of contract request / notice, respectively. If it pays way better, great. If it pays way worse, I can't do it. If the pay's about the same, then it won't really solve my financial issues. But alas, it won't put me in any more. Other factors that I need to acknowledge and be aware of, and I want to discuss, are if it's a contract change, then I'll technically be employed by 2 people at once. That I need to look into the potential tax ramifications, because that might change my tax even if I'm not actually earning any money with one of the employers. Because I'm going to ask to change that particular contract to 0 hours as a potential relief option, and that would mean I don't have to accept any work, but I can then change my contract again with them if things don't go well at the new place or whatever. Yes, then we have other work shenanigans. I am hoping some point next year I might be back into training clients. Yay! This room will likely be unavailable. Boo! Though, admittedly, having people come to my mum's house to train them isn't the most professional look. Though, as I've said in previous vlogs, I'm not a huge fan of that veneer of professionalism. I would much prefer to offer professional services as a professional individual, even if I were doing it like in a bathrobe. You know, doesn't really matter how I look, doesn't matter how the space looks, it matters what the space offers and what I offer, in my opinion. And I think the sort of thing that I do offer will attract more people who prefer that, but I'm not great at marketing. So, and also most of the people that are like me don't really get absorbed very easily by marketing. But yeah, if I do get back into having clients, that would mean I'd need to rent somewhere, which would be another expense, which until I get enough clients would be a loss, and so on and so forth. But yeah, overall, fatigue-wise, if my current trajectory continues, I think sort of mid to late next year, hopefully, if my current trajectory plateaus, not happening, or if it just slows a little bit, then maybe the year after is my current thoughts and feelings on it. Year 2026 is going to be a year of devotion, and that's going to be fun. I will try and do a yearly theme video sort of towards the end of this year, early next year, just to elucidate and expand on that. I realise it's getting a bit dark, and I do need to get going in 10 minutes, but there is more things that I need to discuss, one of which being the Bioneer. Cool dude, as far as I'm aware, but weirdly, the video where I name dropped the guy got 63 views, I think it was, when I last saw it, as opposed to the 0 to 4 that I average. So, algorithm A. But yeah, I'm not going to put him in the title for this one. I don't know what the title's going to be. But he just released a new video that I highly recommend people watch. It is very good. It is over an hour long, however. So make sure you got some time. That surprised me because most of his videos are 10-20 minutes. And so I put it on without looking at the time. And then I was like, whoa, this video is long. Which, it's fine. I thoroughly enjoyed it. to do other stuff whilst I was watching / listening to it, and I do recommend watching it rather than listening to it. I don't know about you, but I very often put on a YouTube video and listen to it whilst I do other things. Regardless, it's about motion punk or movement punk. Very cool concept. He's released a new ebook which I've procured and will be reading at some point. I want to print it all out, and I want to go through it as I did his previous ebook, and which was Super Functional Training 2.0. Never got Super Functional Training, but then there is Functional Training and Beyond, his physical book that I also have. He also has other physical books available if you look for them. But yes, so that's a thing, right? But I also had 2 other books arrive today to add to my collection. My current book is on Taoism that I need to read. Once I've read it, then I will start one of these 2 other books. I do have 2 more other books that I procured at the same time as the Taoism book, and those 2 physical books are on like homesteading and I think foraging. And yes, I am getting into foraging and I want to read them, but given the current state of affairs, I think that they are less urgent for me to read than the other ones, because I need to continue to improve my overall health, well-being and energy levels more than I need to improve my ability to forage, and homesteading is something that I currently have no ability to actually implement. So if I were to read it, that knowledge would go in my brain and slowly filter out before I got any chance to utilize it for the most part. It would just be very useful to have it and go through it, do my annotating like I usually do, so that when I get the opportunity to do something like that, I can then what's the word? More easily access it, you know. I can just be like, ooh, here's a tab, boom, that's the thing that I wanted, yay, rather than having to go through it page by page, scan, reading everything, like, or just full reading it, which would delay me at the time. So it is something I want to do before I need it, but it is a lower priority presently. There's less urgency behind it. So yeah, I've got those 2 physical books. One is Supple Leopard, I believe, by Kerry Starrett. Then the other one is something along the lines of Movement and Meridians. Can't remember the author's name. Supple Leopard, much bigger book than I thought it was. But whatever. They arrived today, having ordered them online, and so I'm going to go through with my tablet with the ebook rather than printing it, most likely, just because the print copy is very unorganized when you print it out page by page, one-sided pages, and yeah, it gets pretty big pretty quickly. So it's not something that I can necessarily travel with, it's not something that I can store easily, etc. So I'm going to have to stick with the ebook for now, and do my annotations, and then perhaps from there I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll get a friend who has a double-sided printer and be like, hey, can you print the black and white copy or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Glad to be back into regular research. I do still intend to read more studies and stuff specifically related to the things that have been helping me with chronic fatigue, but they're real dull, and it's not super easy to find the sort of exact things that I'm looking for. That's probably a learning curve that I would need to go through, but the barrier to entry is higher than these other books that will continue to help me. And if I do pick up more clients, then having all of that physical fitness type stuff fresher in my mind is going to be more helpful in the immediate term. Anyway, so whilst I am going to do that, it's not a consistent ongoing thing. It's more of a bit here, bit there, start and stop type shenanigan. I have work today, which I'm not looking forward to, but I do have. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad, not as bad as my first shift last week anyway, because now I have like a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. I'm just going to move a bit closer because it is getting darker. Holy crap, I look vampiric in this lighting on the film. That's amazing. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to be okay. unless there's like extra alarms or there's stuff that's happened that I'm not aware of since my last shift there. But I don't have work tomorrow because I booked off for Halloween in case I got invited to any Halloween events, which I didn't, very sadly. But that's fine because I need to catch up on sleep following the whole Somerset trip that I'm pretty sure I've done a vlog about, but my memory's shot right now. So badly shot that I left my watch at Kung Fu last night. Kung Fu last night, by the way, went really well. I'm talking very quickly because I'm on a time crunch now, and I can't remember the exact other thing that I wanted to talk about, so I'm just going to ramble on and hopefully it'll come out at some point. It was something about having been called many things throughout my time, but I don't remember what they are. So, whatever. Kung Fu last night went very well. We did the Sally Up thing at the start, which is a good way to sort of gamify exercise stuff. And we did squats. We very often do squats, and I'm not a huge fan of doing it, but we did it wider and it was really painful. Everyone else sort of brought their feet in more than I did, but I was like, no, he said, go to double shoulder width apart and then get into the riding horse to stance in that position. So I did. Everyone else went to a normal riding horse, but I stayed in that wide stance, and I think that has really helped my hip mobility short term. And if I do it more often, which I've told him that is helpful, and he said that's good to know, so hopefully we will do it more often instead of standard squats from horse stance, then that might help more in the long term. I might sneeze, by the way. I did warn you, it might happen again, but we'll see. Yeah. So that's something that was good. We also went through a little bit of the stuff that I did on my previous belt that I've not really done since then, and we only covered it briefly before my grading last time. So something that's like super useful for me to recount, to do more of, and I've found that I need to do more of that. I need to do more of kick defense, and I need to do more of floor attacks, which are all three things I've already done, but they're just not ingrained in the same way that most of the other stuff is, and it is all about getting it so I remember it all the time. That's sort of where I need to be for black belt, because black belt grading will be really tough physically at the start and then continue to be tough later on, but I'm exhausted before we even get to the technique work. So if I can't remember it when I'm exhausted, or if I remember it but do it poorly whilst I'm exhausted, game over, no black belt for James. And James will get that black belt. So yes, that is definitely the way to go for me. And so that was good. We've discussed what to do sort of going forwards. I asked, when new people are doing the beginner stuff, can I just skip that and do my stuff instead when we're doing partnered work? And he said, yeah, that's fine. And then I also was like, okay, I've not covered these two things for my next grading at all. Can we go through those soon? And he said yes. And I've got sort of like a one-to-one session booked in with him. I was like, look, these are the things for my current grade that I've gone through on my own a lot, but you can't really pay enough attention here to pick out any problems because you've got to look after everyone else at the same time. So in that one-to-one session, can you go through and critique them, find all the points that I need to work on? I can make notes of those, fix them, come back, say in a month or two, and say, how about now? And then you can say, okay, you fixed these ones, but here are a couple other things that might have changed since then that are now worse, that you need to go back to what you were doing before without altering the other changes you've already made. I really do not remember. Oh no, my alarm. Let me dismiss that. Skadoosh. Yeah, I need to get going. But so there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, the thing about names, I think it was, like things that I've been called. And it was like a really positive message, and it was going to be great, and I don't remember it. So maybe there'll be another vlog at some point. Won't be today though, because I'm going to go see my family briefly, and then go to work. By my family, I mean my grandparents, and I imagine my mother will be there shortly. And then, yeah, from here, pretty much, I'm going to be going straight to work. Obviously, I've got to change out of my lovely, comfortable hoodie into not so comfortable work jacket, but at least I get to wear my gloves and a hat, unless I left the hat at home. Oh dear. It might be in a bag though. I'll find out. either way, I have a snood, so I can stay warm. It's just snoods are way less comfortable than hats. I don't really like hats that much, but I've got used to it with this job. So yeah, I'm going to go and drink my tea and see my family and go to work. And if I remember tomorrow, while I'm trying to catch up on sleep, what the other thing I wanted to say was I will do a vlog. But in case I don't do a vlog tomorrow, happy Halloween, baby. Happy Samhain and all that jazz. Hopefully you're celebrating in some way because I'm a big proponent for that. And in case I don't get a chance to do a vlog before next Wednesday, happy bonfire night. I'll be celebrating that Saturday. But yeah, good old Guy Fawkes, eh? So I'll catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.